are the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. I mean, pretty obviously doing it. And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
What do you call it when Brittney Griner and Aja Wilson strut into the WNBA acting like it's their personal kingdom? A slam dunk in entitlement with a side of rules don't apply to us. Corruption? Nepotism? Just good old-fashioned diva energy? Whatever it is, it's turning the league into reality TV with worse acting and fewer fans. Get ready for a wild ride through egos, drama, and the kind of privilege that would make even Hollywood jealous.
Black and white sports supporters, well, it seems that the WNBA is, well, we know it's not a serious league, but it seems like maybe they are trying to hide something. They certainly do not want anybody with an opposing viewpoint covering their league. Now, mind you, this is a league that's never turned a profit. This is a league that, even with Caitlin Clark having joined this league last year, lost $40 million. Now, they got a new media rights deal coming, and that's going to bump up to about $220 million a year. But even that won't matter if something happens and Caitlin Clark's ratings disappear.
Brittney Griner is quickly becoming the WNBA's answer to chaos theory. If chaos wore size 17 sneakers, towered over opponents like a final boss, and had a criminal record that reads more like a Netflix docuseries pitch than a basketball bio. Fans are now clenching their popcorn bags, not because of excitement, but out of sheer anxiety. Every time she steps on the court, it's less of a game and more of a demolition derby in high tops.
In a viral clip, after she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and whack call. We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her and not exactly be in the gratitude space. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that?
And now? Oh, now it's not just the fouls piling up. It's the grievances, the controversy, and the tweets from fans calling for a full-blown WNBA boycott. That's right. These aren't just passionate sports fans anymore. They've evolved into courtroom analysts, cultural critics, and self-appointed league auditors, because apparently someone has to keep this mess from setting itself on fire.
I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find...
Let's be honest. Brittney Griner's resume off the court isn't exactly the blueprint for League Ambassador of the Year. There's that little detour in Russia that turned into a political thriller, minus the intrigue and with way too much vape. And while some tried to spin her return as a heroic comeback, others were just left wondering, wait, why are we celebrating someone with a track record that reads like a rap sheet?
I wanted to talk about this man, because she is a man. He is a man. Okay, so Kim, you put this in the chat to talk about. Do you know the context for this Brittney Griner video here?
Oh, other than her just being a ridiculous bitch.
What the hell is her problem? Like, she has been handed
what
world.
happened? She was handed the most privilege that she.
Baby cough.
She was handed the most privileged situation in the entire world. We literally traded a war criminal for her worthless ass.
Because if you asked your average WNBA fan today what Brittney Griner brings to the league, they'd probably answer a sense of dread and a dash of felonious energy. It's not just the prison stint that's got people side-eyeing the whole operation. It's the aggression. The elbows that seem to have GPS coordinates for opponents' faces. the flailing limbs that might as well be weapons of mass intimidation, the stare-downs that could curdle milk. At this point, watching Griner on the court feels like watching an episode of Cops in slow motion, except the sirens are whistles and the suspects are just trying to run a pick and roll. And here's the kicker. People are beginning to ask questions no sports league ever wants to hear. Questions like, is this even a fair matchup? Should she even be playing in this league? Are we watching a women's sport or a one-woman blitzkrieg? The murmurs have turned into full-blown roars, with fans pointing out the obvious. When your physicality looks more suited for an NFL defensive line than a WNBA post-up, maybe there's a deeper issue to unpack. Now toss in the delightful little twist where Britney apparently decided to sprinkle a bit of racism into the Caitlin Clark saga, because why just elbow someone when you can condescend while doing it?
That would be an immediate suspension. If not, Skip Bayless says, a career-ending statement for the white girl. Can you imagine? Now, seriously, can you imagine? Now, remember, before we move on to the audio and everything else, remember, the WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism in our league. Why? It went from she didn't say that to, well, it's not racist, to who cares? All without an investigation. And all of us here in Indy were saying, wait, we get painted as racist by this psychopath, Angel Reese, damn near every time her and her psychotic teammates come to town. And then we got to hear, oh, we want a safe place. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Brittney Griner, effing white girl, is racist as hell. Why's it got to be about white? How many times have you heard that the other way? Why's it got...
That's right, because bullying rookies is apparently on the WNBA bingo card this year, and Griner's going for blackout. Caitlin Clark, the golden girl of the league's future, didn't just get a baptism by fire. She got the Griner special, a full-course meal of dismissiveness, hostility, and microaggressions. Or was it macro? You'd think the league would step in. You know, with rules, standards, referees. Those things that used to matter in professional sports. But nope. It's like the officials have gone into witness protection. Nobody wants to be the one to say, hey, maybe tone down the MMA tactics. Instead, they're letting this powder keg roll around unchecked, daring someone to light the fuse. And fans are done pretending it's fine. They're not just booing from the stands. They're canceling season tickets and lighting up social media like it's 4th of July. But this isn't just about one player anymore. No, Griner's just the flaming tip of the iceberg. The WNBA has a full-blown culture problem, and it's leaking all over what could have been a renaissance moment. With new stars like Caitlin Clark injecting fresh energy into the league, this should be a celebration, a resurgence. But instead, we're getting old-school bitterness, street ball levels of hostility, and locker room entitlement that makes college frats look like monasteries.
Flag you. Brittney, let me see something real quick. Brink! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Jab stepping, it's the brick. Swing and a miss! Oh! Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
A'ja Wilson, Griner's favorite co-star in this daytime drama, isn't helping either. She's standing shoulder to shoulder with the Entitlement Brigade, practically handing out backstage passes to the pity party. Instead of embracing new talent and the chance to elevate the sport, they're guarding their turf like it's Fort Knox, and the future is some kind of threat to their legacy. It's less, welcome to the league, and more, stay in your lane, rookie. And speaking of lanes, Britney's created one all her own. It's somewhere between a WWE heel turn and a bad reality show character arc. You don't know if she's about to dunk or body slam someone. Either way, you brace for impact. And while that might make for compelling highlights, it's sending a message to up-and-coming talent that skill takes a back seat to intimidation. That muscle matters more than finesse. That aggression equals dominance. And the league seems cool with that, for now. But fans aren't. And they're louder than ever. They're demanding fairness. They're demanding accountability. And they're demanding a league where sportsmanship actually exists somewhere between the layups and the shade. They're tired of watching players get steamrolled under the pretense of competitive spirit. They're tired of seeing Caitlin Clark treated like an invader, instead of the breath of fresh air she is.
It's like, it's just a big commotion. So I was just letting the fans just kind of relax. Like we're not here to hurt anyone. It's a basketball play, and that's what it's going to do. We're going to continue to make basketball plays, and it's going to be physical, is what we're trained to do. But that was my biggest thing, was just kind of be a fan. Yes, cheer for your team. That's okay. But at the same time, this is our job. I'm not going to hurt E-Dub, and she knows that. I'm actually checking to make sure she's okay. So I don't like the instigating. It doesn't help our game. It doesn't grow our game. So that's what I was telling people, just to kind of relax. Like, it's okay.
They're tired of seeing Griner get the star treatment while she bulldozes her way through games like a wrecking ball with a ponytail. This isn't just bad optics, it's brand suicide. The league is finally on the edge of mainstream buzz, and instead of seizing the moment with grace and strategy, they're handing the mic to the chaos agents. Every time Griner shoves a player or launches into another unchecked outburst, the WNBA loses a little more credibility. Every time Caitlin Clark gets clobbered without a whistle, the audience grows a little more disillusioned. And every time the league shrugs and looks the other way, they confirm what many fans are now saying. This league protects its own, even if it means destroying the rest. And now here we are. Fans are organizing boycotts, not out of apathy, but frustration. They're tuning out because they care. They wanted to watch the WNBA rise. They wanted to support the players, invest in the games, and see women's basketball reach the heights it deserves. But instead, they're being treated to a circus of elbows, entitlement, and egos running wild like it's spring break in Vegas. What should have been the golden era is now a punchline. The WNBA had one job, don't mess this up, and yet they're letting the worst instincts of a few players poison the well for everyone. It's not just Caitlin Clark under fire, it's the whole integrity of the game.
Brittney Griner actually a female or a male? Now, Brittney Griner actually does play in the WNBA, which is a women's basketball association, right? But when you actually listen to Brittney Griner's voice is very, very masculine, okay? Now, Brittney Griner is also a lesbian, and we found out probably about, 3-4 months ago that Brittney Griner's lover, Cheryl, a woman, actually got pregnant. And a lot of people had questions, man. How did this happen?
And if they keep letting players like Brittney Griner turn the court into a personal vendetta arena, someone's going to get seriously hurt. Physically, emotionally, or both. At this rate, the league's slogan might as well be, "Where aggression meets immunity." And fans? They're not buying it. They're calling it out. Loudly, frequently, and with receipts. Because the real story isn't just that Brittney Griner is out here throwing elbows, it's that the WNBA keeps looking the other way while pretending the league is thriving. Spoiler alert, it's not. We followed Caitlin Clark into the WNBA like curious tourists wandering into a back alley jazz club. We weren't even sure it was real until the lights turned on and the trumpet wailed. Before her, the WNBA was that blurry channel you skip while looking for reruns of The Office. But once she landed, suddenly everyone was watching. Not because the league pulled off some marketing masterstroke, but because Caitlin Clark plays the kind of basketball that makes you drop your phone, yell at your TV, and briefly believe in miracles. She didn't just arrive, she detonated. With logo threes, court vision from the gods, and more swag than the league's entire marketing department could have scripted in a decade. And that's what kept us watching. Not the pregame speeches, not the overproduced hype reels.
Brittney Griner just called Caitlin Clark a trash effing white girl. Caitlin Clark has been picked on and abused ever since she entered the league in 2024, and now Brittney Griner is joining in on the action, saying that she is an effing trash girl because after she fouled out, she decided to take her anger and frustration out on Caitlin Clark. If the roles were reversed, imagine the type of field day the media would be having right now. Let's all remember the character of Brittney Griner. This is the same woman who got caught smoking weed in Russia and was jailed. And then Joe Biden made a trade for the merchant of death and returned him back to Russia for him to continue doing the same shenanigans that he was doing before he got arrested. He sold $10 million of arms to the Houthis.
Not the social justice slogans plastered across jerseys like budget bumper stickers. It's Caitlin, pure hoops, unfiltered talent. a walking highlight reel in a league that was previously allergic to excitement. But let's be honest, the longer we watch, the harder it gets to pretend the league isn't trying to sabotage its own rising star. Somewhere along the way, someone in WNBA HQ must have decided that physicality was the new personality. They watched one too many 90s NBA clips and thought, you know what we need? More bruises and fewer buckets. Because now, what we're witnessing isn't just basketball, it's borderline sanctioned battery with the occasional layup. It's as if someone turned the difficulty setting to Fight Club and forgot to tell the refs. Caitlyn gets hammered every other play like it's a full contact sport, and somehow the whistle stays glued to the ref's hip. Meanwhile, if she so much as breathes too hard on an opponent, it's an immediate foul and a lecture from 3 officials and a Gatorade bottle. And don't even get started on the consistency of calls. It's like a roulette wheel with sneakers. One night it's a flagrant, the next night it's just good hustle. Referees have become the real MVPs, not most valuable players, but most volatile predictors. They determine game outcomes more than the athletes do. Want to win a tight matchup? Better hope your squad gets the officiating crew that actually read the rule book and didn't just wing it after a late-night YouTube binge on street ball.
This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along, and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie year. Outstanding. She's like Steph Curry. She can pull up from anywhere. You understand? She has that kind of capability. Then won a national championship. Lost to LSU one year. Lost to South Carolina another year. But she's outstanding and clearly worthy of being the #1 overall pick. And what I was saying to everybody is ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats. She's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws.
Because right now, Caitlin Clark isn't just battling defenders. She's fending off a league that seems completely unsure of how to handle the phenomenon it accidentally stumbled into. And through all this mess, through the body checks, the no calls, the shoulder bumps masquerading as defense, Caitlin still shines, still drops 30, still pulls defenders out to the parking lot and drains shots with a smile. It's like watching someone juggle flaming chainsaws while riding a unicycle. Underappreciated, absurdly difficult, and absolutely mesmerizing. She's not just good, she's historically good. And somehow, she's managing to entertain despite the league's best efforts to turn every game into a gritty reboot of American Gladiators. Let's not forget the other elephant in the gym, agenda overload. Somewhere between the first tip-off and the final buzzer, viewers are being nudged, prodded, and occasionally lectured into supporting whatever cause is trending that week. It's not enough to watch basketball anymore. Now you've got to process a manifesto with every free throw. We get it, causes matter, but most fans tuned in for bounce passes, not political science. Sometimes a pick and roll should just be a pick and roll, not a symbolic stand for international diplomacy.
Can we be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She's the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. Should be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
People aren't watching Caitlin Clark because they want to be converted into activists or emotionally blackmailed by the halftime report. They're watching her because she brings something rare to the WNBA, excitement that feels natural, thrilling basketball that speaks for itself. She doesn't need to dunk over someone, scowl for the camera, and then monologue about culture wars. She just plays, and thank heavens for that, because without her, most viewers would have tuned out faster than a half-hearted apology press conference. What makes it even more absurd is how the league and some of its veteran stars have responded. Instead of rolling out the red carpet for the biggest attraction the WNBA has ever seen, they're acting like Caitlin's presence is a threat to the ecosystem. Like she's the new kid who's too cool, too talented, and too white to sit at their lunch table. But here's the thing. She didn't ask to be the face of the league. She just showed up, dropped dimes, and refused to tone down the brilliance. And if that brilliance happens to make a few longtime players feel a little salty, that's a them problem. Greatness has never asked for permission. Michael Jordan didn't wait for the Pistons to approve his legend status. Serena Williams didn't tiptoe into tennis.
It's kind of basketball talk, but you got to go back to Caitlin Clark just for a second. So she breaks the record, or I guess, tied, technically, for most 20-point games and 10 assist games. And she's played one season.
Yeah.
One season. Against Taurasi and another player who played how many seasons?
15.
Right. And you're not telling me that this is not the best player in the WNBA?
And Caitlin Clark certainly isn't waiting for a handshake from Brittney Griner before turning the league upside down. The fans know it. The cameras know it. And deep down, even her haters know it. But the WNBA, it's fumbling the moment. Instead of building around Caitlin's momentum, it's busy staging mini battles over respect and dues, like it's some underground fight club. They should be selling out arenas, but instead they're selling the idea that aggression and hostility are a vibe. Spoiler alert, they're not. They're just lazy substitutions for actual skill and teamwork. And if the league keeps pushing that narrative, it's going to run out of viewers faster than Angel Reese runs out of patience. Caitlin is the reason people are watching. And that's not a dig, it's a lifeline. The league didn't earn this moment, it lucked into it. And if it continues to let poor officiating, hyper-aggressive play, and pointless agendas take center stage, it's going to lose the very audience it just found. Because fans didn't show up for drama. They showed up for the jump shots, the handles, the long threes that defy logic. They showed up for Caitlin Clark. And if the WNBA can't figure that out soon, they're going to watch her carry the sport right into a different league.